Well, lots of excitement surrounding the upcoming series between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. And why wouldn't there be? These are two of the top teams in the National Hockey League squaring off. The Rangers ended up first overall, winning the President's Trophy with 114 points. The Hurricanes weren't far behind with 111. The last 3 months, the Rangers were 25-8-1, the Hurricanes 24-8-2. Man, that's close. In the 3 games they played together, similar story. The Rangers won the first one 2-1 on a Will Cooley goal. The Canes bested the Rangers 6-1 with 2 goals by Andrei Svechnikov and 3 assists by Brady Shea. And then there was the tiebreaker, the 3rd game at the end of the season, which really sealed the deal for the Rangers to win the President's Trophy. And what a game that was. Very hard fought, but the winner were the Rangers 1-0. Adam Fox with the goal, and Igor Shesterkin with an outstanding performance in goal. So a great game again, and I think a harbinger of what we're going to see in this series. These teams are very, very closely matched. And boy, I'll tell you, it's hard to see a difference when you look at the stats. I thought we'd take a look at that, take a look at some of the player matchups and some of the other dynamics between these two teams, and just see what might happen as the series goes on. I believe the Hurricanes are going to win this series. Others have said the same thing. A lot of folks believe that the winner of this series will go on to win the Cup. That could very well be the case. But first things first. So, let's take a look at these two teams. Let's peel the onion back a little bit, and let's understand better what we might look forward to in this upcoming series. Well, Rod Brind'Amour has talked a lot about the importance of specialty teams for a long time. In fact, he felt that the challenges the Canes had last year on the power play really led to their demise in the playoffs. The Canes tried to solve that problem and did a great job this year. Overall, the Hurricanes were 26.9%, good enough for second in the league. But the Rangers weren't far behind at 26.4, good enough for third. So these two teams have outstanding power plays, and of course, the Rangers are led by their leader in the point side, Artemi Panarin. The bread man, as they call him, is outstanding, and he had 120 points this year. 44 of those were on the power play, including 11 goals. So Panarin and the Ranger power play is going to be a handful for the Hurricanes. The Canes on the other side were led by Sebastian Aho offensively. He had 89 points on the season. He had 11 goals and 21 assists for 32 power play points. So both of these guys are the engine that really makes it happen. And for sure, we'll be watching Panarin and Aho as the power plays hit the ice. An interesting metric is around shots per game. This is an area the Canes really feature in their offense. They were good enough for second overall in the league at 33.33 shots per game. The Rangers a little bit behind at 32.49. They were at 10th. So a little bit of an advantage here. That's really the way the Canes drive their offense. They like to get shots on goal. And of course, they look for opportunities based on that. So very close on the offensive side, very close on the power play. Again, a little bit of an advantage for the Hurricanes, but the Rangers right there with them. Look at the defensive side. Penalty kill is a key part of that. The Hurricanes ended up first overall in the league this year, and that's after a very slow start. And kudos to Tim Gleason and the crew on the ice, led by, of course, the likes of Jacob Slavin and Jordan Stahl. Those guys are outstanding on the PK, 86.4%. Great number. The Rangers, 84.5, not far behind. The Rangers also feature a lot of offense on their PK. They've got Kreider, Zibanejad, Vinny Trocheck, and others that can really drive the offense at the same time. So great group on the PK for the Rangers as well. Let's look at the face-off win percent. This affects specialty teams in a big way, both power play and penalty kill. Canes came in at 52.6, Rangers at 52.3. Man, they're close. And you look at the top guys on each team, not surprising, Jordan Stahl checks in at 58.1 for the Canes. He does a lot of the tough draws, as does Vinny Trocheck for the Rangers, 58.7% for Vinny this year. So some really top guys in the faceoff dot. You can expect we're going to see a lot of those guys in the playoff action that we see. They're really key parts of their team's face-off work for sure. One other area I really wanted to highlight was shots against. Again, the Canes' defense, very stout. They like to get in your face. They like to close the gap. Definitely very much into shot blocking as well. 2001 was shots against, stingiest in the National Hockey League, so they were first. And the Rangers checked in at 2004-19. That was good enough for 8th. So a big difference here, and I think the Canes D core really is an advantage for the Hurricanes. If you take a look at their group of 7, there isn't anyone better, including the Rangers. And in particular, the Hurricanes number 5, 6 are just unbelievable this year. Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield would certainly be a number 2 pair for virtually any team in the league. And there they are as number 3 in the Canes, and they played extremely well for the Hurricanes this season. So they'll see a lot of action. Keandre Miller and Braden Schneider is the pair for the Rangers, and I think you can see there's a clear advantage for the Hurricanes. So lots of interesting numbers there. One other number I just thought I'd mention was goals against per game. The Rangers came in at 2.76 and the Hurricanes at 2.57. I think that reflects a slow start for Igor Shesterkin and also the fine play of Pyotr Kochetkov, and of course the red-hot play of Freddie Andersen when he returned after his blood clot issue earlier in the season. And, I wanted to talk about these two guys, Andersen and Shesterkin. I think the goalie matchup is going to be one of the key matchups of this series. No question, your goalies can make or break it. These two guys are among the best in the league right now. Shesterkin has been smoking hot for the last probably month and a half, or certainly since the All-Star break. He's been incredible. His last 10 games has 20 goals against and a .921 save percentage for him. His save percent on the year was .913. His goals against average .258. So again, he's a workhorse for the Rangers. He won 36 games this year. So he's a guy they count on for sure and will be critical for their playoff success. He's been looking strong, certainly against the Caps and in recent weeks in the NHL action as well. So Canes have their hands full with Shesterkin. Andersen, of course, missed a lot of the season. He's played just 16 regular season games, 14-2-0. That's quite a record. 184 goals against average and a .932 save percentage during the regular season. Those are incredible numbers. And interestingly enough, of course, Freddie has been nominated for the Masterton Trophy for his effort to come back from a very serious illness. And we'll hope that he has a real shot at that as well. So last 10 games for Fred, 18 goals against, again, .934 save percentage. This guy has been lights out. And, so many great saves in that Islanders series, some just incredible 10-bell saves. I'm sure he's got a couple more up his sleeve. So this will be quite the battle between these two. And I think whoever ends up winning the goalie match is going to win this series for his team. So we'll see how that goes. As of right now, Andersen is scheduled to play the series for the Canes. They do have, of course, Pyotr Kochetkov, who had an outstanding season for the Hurricanes. He hasn't had a chance to get into playoff action this year yet, but again, they'll continue to ride Freddie as long as he's hot, I'm sure. I thought we'd look at another interesting matchup as well. That would be Artemi Panarin of the Rangers and Jake Guentzel for the Hurricanes. Panarin, of course, 120 points this year for an outstanding offensive year, but in the past he hasn't been quite as successful in the playoffs. In fact, that's been a knock on Panarin, and they're wondering how he's going to fare this year. Panarin, of course, had not scored as much as they'd like, 18 goals in 61 games, so they're kind of concerned with how he might come through this series as well. On the other hand, Guentzel, he's really performed admirably in playoffs. That's one of the key reasons the Canes went to grab him at the trade deadline and paid a big price for him. A lot of folks were shocked when the Canes made that deal happen, but they wanted to be sure this time around that they had enough offense to get it done. Guentzel has 35 goals in 63 playoff games, so he definitely knows how to get it done. And if his play with Sebastian Aho at the end of this season was any indication, you can expect a lot of offense as well. All Guentzel did was notch 25 points in just 17 games. So he's a guy that can really turn it up. He's added a whole new dimension to the Hurricanes, and I expect that Jake is going to be a key contributor as the Canes walk towards this Stanley Cup. So, Panarin Guentzel, we'll have to see how that one plays out. Another player who might be a factor would be Evgeny Kuznetsov. Now, Kuznetsov, of course, had starred with the Capitals in previous years. In fact, was outstanding the year they won the Cup. And he's a guy that certainly is starting to show some of that with the Hurricanes. 2 goals in the previous series, and both key markers, including a penalty shot goal, was really something to see with Kuznetsov. So he's a guy that can be a difference maker, another player the Canes really wanted to pick up at the deadline. And I'll tell you what, with Kuznetsov and Guentzel, you're adding a lot of talent and a lot of experience to the Canes' fortunes. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, they're going to be key elements of this run to the Cup for the Hurricanes, I'm sure. So lots of things to look at with this series. It's going to be interesting. We've got the very close nature of these two teams. They're extremely close in so many factors. And, you know, the separation is going to be either goaltending or some of these offensive players we talked about stepping up and being the difference makers. So it's going to be exciting, and we're going to watch it really closely here. Of course, thanks as always for joining me. We'll look forward to the next time we get together right here on stormTRacker.